My father asked me to return the graduation money he had given me so he could give it to his stepson. Hello, Reddit eyes plus here. Next week is my graduation ceremony, the one I've been looking forward to for as long as I can remember. The plan was for my parents, despite being divorced, to co-host the party. My dad even gave me some money to help cover the costs. I thought maybe, just maybe, this could be a sign we were finally fixing things. But of course, life had other plans. My relationship with my dad? It's complicated. He was great when I was younger, back when it was just me, him, and my mom. But when I was 10, he met Jane. And Jane came with 3 kids of her own, twins, and another one just a year younger than me. They got married when I was 12, and I guess that's when I started to fade into the background. I noticed how he began to cancel plans with me if Jane's kids wanted to do something. We'd planned to go hiking, but suddenly I'd be dragged to an indoor play area instead because the kids would enjoy it more. Or he'd swap out a movie I wanted to see for a day at a kiddie park, but I bit my tongue. I tried to convince myself it was okay, that it was normal to feel a little jealous. After all, he said it was. You're just adjusting, he'd tell me. It's normal to feel this way. The turning point? A concert, one we both loved. He promised to buy a ticket, and we'd finally have some father-son time. I held on to that promise. Then, the night before, he dropped the bomb. Sorry, I can't make it. I'm using the money to paint the youngest room. They've been asking for months. It wasn't a question. It wasn't a discussion. I was just left there, hurt and angry. The worst part wasn't even the cancellations, though. It was the times he wasn't there when I needed him most. Like the time I broke my arm and waited in the hospital for hours. He couldn't come because Jane's kid was getting their tonsils out. He didn't even call me directly, just left a message with my mom. Tell him I'm proud of him for being brave. Brave? I didn't feel brave. I felt abandoned. When I confronted him about this, he brushed it off as usual. You're just jealous. You need to understand I have more responsibilities now. Fast forward to 2019. I wanted to go on a school trip, and my mom had already saved half the money. My dad agreed to cover the rest. But when it was time to pay, he claimed things were tight because it was the twins' birthdays, and the money had to go to them. I snapped. You've made your choice. I'll stay with Mom where I matter. My mom even borrowed money to cover the trip, which only made me feel worse. I thought things might get better after that. Dad apologized, and we started working on things. A month ago, he gave me money for my graduation party, and I thought maybe he really was trying. But then, a week ago, he called. One of the stepkids is getting bullied, he said. They're having such a tough time, and their birthday is coming up. We could use the money to cheer them up. And just like that, my world shattered again. I didn't say much. I hung up. But 2 days later, I marched to his house. I handed him the money and said, You've chosen who's important to you. Don't bother coming to my graduation. I don't want to see you or your family there. His stepkids and my 2 younger half-siblings were in the room. They stared at me with wide eyes, probably confused, maybe hurt, but I couldn't bring myself to care in that moment. I left before he could say anything. Later, he called. We need to talk like adults, he said. You hurt the kids' feelings. I blocked his number. I blocked his wife too when she blew up my phone, calling me selfish. Now, I'm wondering, Aita for standing up for myself, even if it meant hurting them.